Well, hi everyone. Geezer Tony here, back with another one. Today, I thought I'd do a quick what's in the bag. I did one earlier this year, but some things have changed. The channel is really starting to grow now, and I want to let all of you know that I really appreciate it. It's kind of interesting to know that people are interested in what I might have to say about golf. But I did a what's in the bag early this year. It doesn't have many views because I didn't have that many viewers then. And some things have changed. So I wanted to do a new one because I'm starting to get some questions about my clubs and what have you. So we're going to do a quick what's in the bag. I won't go into detail about everything I carry in the bag, just your general golf tees, ball markers, ball mark repair tools, Sharpie pens to mark your ball with. And then some people thought it was interesting that I keep a plastic bag there with some um, items in there, among which is some tissue paper just in case, because walking, you never know. So anyway, like a Boy Scout, try to be prepared. We're going to start with the wedge, my most lofted club. So I have, I had a wedge that I loved. I really loved. It was about 14 years old, and the grooves were just totally worn out on it. And I just couldn't find a replacement for it that felt good interacting with the ground, and it just looked right to me. So I kept using that one and kept looking. So I finally have its replacement, and it's not a new wedge. It's in new condition, but I got this from a friend of mine who just happened to have it in his trunk. He said, here, he had three or four. He said, try these. So the wedge that I had was a Ping, Tour W or something. It was about 14 years old. This one here, I'm not sure how old it is. It's quite a bit newer. This one is a Cleveland Tour Action from just a few years ago. Both are 56 degrees. There's a positive on this one. Give you a look here. It behaves almost exactly like my Ping wedge did, close enough that I can make up the difference in the feel. And the positive is that a lot of times late in the year, like it's becoming now, that was a silver wedge. I'm not sure if it was chrome. It might have been brushed aluminum. But there were times when at certain angles it would reflect the sun right into my eyes and I couldn't see. This one's dark and it's not going to do that. So there's a bonus right there. Also, I lengthened this one an inch like I do. All of my clubs are 1 inch over whatever they came at. So just want to clear that up. Also, this year, in the middle of the year, I switched over to mid-size grips from regular. I use the half cord type. They just feel good to me. And as you notice, I don't use a glove, so these feel really good. They do the job. So why did I change over to mid-size grips? Well, mostly because my hands are starting to bother me a little bit. I think I may have some arthritis. Here, when I hit a driver and I really come through impact, I can feel it. And on this hand, the thumb is really tender. So bigger grip, I heard bigger grips help that. So I tried them and it does. So for now, they're mid-size. Who knows? Maybe later they may have to go bigger. So that's the sandwich. Also, it has a stiff and S300 stiff shaft. And I love this wedge. The next wedge, if you've been watching my videos, you know I have two gap wedges. I'm gonna give you the yardages too. That 56 wedge on a normal shot goes right about 100 yards. This 52 wedge that I've had for at least 8-10 years, since I don't use it as much, it isn't worn out like the other one was. It is a Brand X MDC 52 degrees with an Apollo stiff stepless shaft. I just picked this up when I needed one, and got a cheap one to start off with, and it's great. I love it. So I got this at valuegolf.com. I think it's probably about $55 or $60. It's as good as any brand name wedge, so why change? Again, mid-size grip, 1 inch over length. I hit this one generally about 115 yards. Now we're going to get to the A wedge, which I call also a gap wedge. This is the most lofted wedge in the set of irons that I have, the match set. I don't know what the loft is. I just had it bent at the fitters until it went 125 yards. So I don't really know what the loft is. I did it for my gapping rather than a certain degree of loft. I wanted to go a certain distance, so that's how I had it gap. Now, this set is different. Before, I had steel, stiff 115-gram shafts in all my irons. This shaft here is regular flex graphite, and it's 65 grams. Now, how do you make a switch like that? You know, did the fitters do it? No. Just by happen chance, one of our clients in our school, when Kirk Junga comes down, we do a school together. He had a set of these, and I hit them, and it was my mouth went open. I was like, wow. So I hit a few more, and I decided, you know, hey, I took down all the details of it and started looking for a set, and I found a set at a reasonable price. So I bought these. I lengthened them 1 inch, put the mid-size grips on them, and I've never hit irons any better than I do these. So go figure, you know, a fitter would never even have me try these. Not only about the shafts and all, but it is the Callaway Paradigm X, which is the most game improvement iron that they make in the Paradigm. They're not what I would have ever preferred. They don't they don't look that good to me. I've gotten used to it, but it's not something I would prefer. But they perform so well that I said I've got to have them. So I'm not too proud to hit a game improvement iron if it performs well for me, and so that's what I'm doing. So this set goes on through to the 5 iron. So I'll give you the yardages, approximate yardages. This one is about 125, maybe sometimes 130. Then we go to the pitching wedge, and it's on average about 140. The 9, about 150-ish. Now, of course, you know, I may hit it at 145, I may hit it at 158. It just depends on the circumstances. The 8, 160. The 7, 170. I've got them pretty well gapped. And the 6, 180. The 5 is where we come into the problem. For some reason, this 5 goes way too far. And it doesn't get up in the air like all the others do. So I took it and had 3 degrees of loft added to it, and it didn't really change it much. I'm not sure, maybe it bent back where it was or what, but it's not performing well for me. It goes the same distance as the next club we're going to talk about. So right now, I'm in the process of looking for a replacement for this 5 iron. It could be 7 wood, it could be maybe a hybrid, or some other club that goes, you know, 195-ish is what I'm looking for. So all these were matched irons up to, again, from A wedge through 5 iron. Now, I don't carry a 4 anymore. I have this 3 driving iron. It's a Cobra. It's a Cobra. The fitters did build this one for me. Cobra King Tech Utility. 3 iron. I think it's. I think we put it at 21 degrees, and it has a Slay. I know you've never heard of that. Slay stiff graphite shaft. I'm not sure of the weight. Yeah, it's on here. 85 grams. I hit this really well. I love this club, especially at my home course. There are a lot of holes where I can't hit driver because of the shortness of a dog leg. So this is perfect. So I love this club. I'm not getting rid of this one. So that brings us to fairway woods. My fairway woods are PXG. They are 3, 4 years old. What is it? 0341X. The 3 wood and the 5 wood are matching. Now these have 55-gram regular, 60-gram regular flex shafts. And again, I have lengthened everything 1 inch. So these both have regular flex shafts in them, and it is a Riptide even flow CB counterbalance. I guess that's what that means. And I hit these really well. So that brings us to, I'll talk about the putter next, and then we'll talk about the driver. I have the same putter that I've had for 2, 3 years now. It's a Wilson Infinite. It looks a lot like many other kinds of putters you see, the shape of it, and it's arm lock. And I have been putting arm lock for 3, 4, 5 years. I'm not even sure. Put pretty well with it. I haven't seen a need to look for anything else. But PXG just came out with a putter that's has similar technology to the Lie Angle Balance putter that I'm very interested in the PXG. The lab putters just don't look good to me, and I just can't do it. I haven't tried one. I imagine I could get used to it if all the putts went in, but the PXG one looks good to me. So I'm in the process of trying to contact them to see if the local fitters have one in, that I can go try. I'm not going to buy anything without trying it ever again. I did that a couple times and it didn't work out. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be arm lock. I putt pretty well traditional with the claw grip. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. So now it brings us to the driver. I have two. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you remember that I had a Ping G400 that I hit really well, and then one day it developed a crack across the top. I don't know how that happens. It must be my sheer club head speed. No, not really. It just cracked all the way across the top. So I went looking for a replacement, and for the time being, I ordered just the head off of eBay, a Ping G400 Max. I thought I had the Max on the other one, but I didn't, because when this one came, it looked different. At first, I was suspicious, and I thought I had a counterfeit. And then I looked up and said, "Whoa, the Max just looks different than the one I had." So I had a standard one. So I put the same stock shaft from my previous Ping driver in there, and I've been hitting it great. I mean, really well. No complaints whatsoever. So then why do I have another one? Well, I have an acquaintance at Sanford Golf Club who bought this Ping G430 Max 10K. He didn't like it, and he was trying to sell it, and I didn't. I really wasn't interested, but I have helped him with his game a little bit, and never charged him anything because he's a friend. And so he says, "I'll sell it to you cheap." So I'm not going to say how cheap it was, but it was cheap enough that I said, "Okay, I'll take it." So I bought that, and it also has the standard Ping stiff Alta CB shaft that comes in it. And the biggest problem I have I love the driver. It actually goes 5 to 8 yards farther than the G400 most of the time. But the biggest problem I have with it is I have trouble turning it over left. when I need to. And if I don't do something a little extra, it wants to go just a little right. It doesn't slice, it just kind of goes right. So I can, I can move my grip in my feet and all that to counteract that, but I don't want to do that. So I'm still working on why is it doing that. I actually put some lead tape in here to help that, and it hasn't changed anything. So I'm going to try another shaft or possibly the one in the other driver. And if that doesn't work, I may not keep it because I hit the other one really well. So, but I like this driver. It feels good. It sounds good. The 10K part of it really does work because, with these dark faces, you can actually see where your ball hits the face every time you hit one. And I have hit balls, out here toward the toe that you kind of know you hit it on the toe, but it didn't feel that bad. And until you look and say, whoa, but the thing went out there just like a good one, within 5 yards. So that's what the 10K is about. So that's all the clubs. Oh yeah, one of the most important pieces of equipment for me is a towel. If I don't have a towel, I'm lost. So I've got to have a towel, and it's not just for perspiration to wipe off. It's I love to keep my clubs clean. Every time I hit, that club gets cleaned off before it goes back into the bag. Every time. I also use a range finder regularly. Currently, I have a Golf Buddy. It's a kind of a cheapo one. I still have my Garmin that I've had since they first started making them. It just doesn't have slope, and I wanted to try slope, so I bought this cheap one. And the slope on there works, but I'm not sure I trust it. I'm not sure how correct it is. It just gives me an indication because sometimes it'll say it's 4 yards uphill, and I look and I say, well, it's more than 4 yards. It's at least 10 or 12. So, take that with a grain of salt. But um, as far as the actual measurement of it, it matches the Garmin perfectly. So it's a good one. It's a Golf Buddy. I think it was about 150 bucks. I can't think of anything else other than the golf balls, which if you've been watching my videos, you also know that I'm not all that attached to any particular brand or type of golf ball. That being said, I get Pro Vs and other high value golf balls from a guy that lives down near Pinehurst, not far from here. And you can't tell they've been hit. And he sells them to me for $12 a dozen or $1 each. So I usually buy those and play those because I know they're good balls and they're as cheap as anything I can buy new. So I very seldom buy a new ball, almost never. But I will, if I find something, I will play with it. I don't care if it's, what it is. If it's a soft ball, supposed low compression, or I've even done, and I'm going to do again, a video playing golf with a range ball just to kind of prove my point that it's just not that important. I know some people love their golf balls and they're attached to them and they say, well, I hit this one 20 yards further, but I just don't buy it because I've hit every ball that you can ever find, and I don't see much difference in any of them. I do see a little difference in the Kirkland. It's a little shorter, but it's still a good ball for its price. So I think that's about it. And I was out here in the backyard working this afternoon, and I thought, well, I was thinking about the comments that I've been getting, and I thought, well, I'll do a new what's in the bag video for them, and maybe that'll answer some of their questions. So if you have any questions about my videos or my swing or where I play or anything, just pop them in the comments below, and at least for now, I try to answer every comment. If it ever gets to the point where I can't, then I'm sorry I won't. But for now, I try to comment back if it requires one on every comment. So I think that's about it for now. So I'll just say, for now, this is Geezer Tony signing off. Till next time.